Hello students, you all are welcome in grade 6 subject science. Continue our chapter water. Today's our topic water cycle. Dear students, first of all the first topic from this water cycle, that is disappearing trick of water. How water disappears. So how many times have you noticed that water spilled on floor dry ups after some time? The water seems to disappear. Similarly, water disappears from wet clothes as they dry up. Water from wet roads, rooftops, and few other places also disappear after the rains. Where does this water go? Here you can see the clothes drying on a clothesline. Now, these all question, only the one single answer is there. That is evaporation. Evaporation is the concept that the process converts from liquid into water vapor, that is gaseous form. So dear students, do you remember activity 6 in chapter number 5, in which water with salt dissolved in it was heated? Now what did we find? The water evaporated and salt was left behind. This activity gives us an idea on heating the water changes into water vapor. We also realize from this activity that water vapor does not carry away the salt with it. Water vapor so formed become a part of the air and cannot usually be seen. Okay, so we also found that heating is an essential process to convert water into vapor. So, however, we have seen the water changes in its water vapor also, as water vapor which drives from the field, roads, rooftop and other land areas. We also discuss in this chapter 5 that to obtain salt, water from the sea is left behind in the shallow pits to let the water evaporates. So, from where does this water get the heat? It needs to evaporate. Means the answer behind this is evaporation process. So, in water cycle, evaporation is the first step. For that purpose, we can do this one of the activity that take two similar plates, place one of the plates in the sunlight and keep the other under shade. Now pour equal amount of water in each of the plates. You can use a cap of bottle to measure the water. Make sure that the water does not spill over. Observe the two plates after every 15 minutes. Thus the water seems to disappear. Here you can see that from which plate does water disappear first. Naturally the plate which is under the sun, it evaporates first, while the dish which under the shadow, it does not evaporate. So what is the source of heat from these evaporations? During the daytime the sunlight falls on the water in oceans, river, lakes and ponds. The field and the other land areas also receive the sunlight. Okay, so as a result the water from all these places continuously changes into vapor. However, the salt dissolved in the water are left behind. Salt does not go off, right? So in activity number 2, did you find that water also disappear from the plate that is kept in behind? Here you can see the first step, that is evaporations, as two dishes are there. One dish is under the shadow of the house and other is under the direction of the house. Now you can find that the more and more evaporation under the sun, while under the shadow evaporation is there but very small amount. The shade, though it could have taken more time, does the heat from the sunlight reach here? Yes, during the daytime all the air surrounding us gets heated and this warm air provides heat for the evaporation of the water in the shade also. Thus evaporation takes place from all the open surfaces of the water. As a result, water vapor get continuously added to air and this evaporation of water is a slow process, so that's why we rarely notice its loss from the bucket full of water. In sunlight, evaporation takes place faster. On heating water on burner, its evaporation takes place even faster than any other process through which water gets transferred into air. Dear students, in this paragraph, we have learned that the plate which is directly put under the sun, the evaporation becomes fast from that plate than the other plate. Why? Why? Because the other plate which is under the shadow. Of course, it is under the sun but under the shadow, so the rate of evaporation done from that plate also, but the rate of evaporations becomes low under the shadow. Okay. Now, the next step, that is loss of water by the plants. So, this is the second stage of water cycle, loss of water. And that loss of water, it is the device of loss of water by the plants. It has one special word, and that word name is transpiration. Right? So transpiration is the second step for evaporation. Second stage for rain cycle. You have learnt in chapter number 7 that plants need water to grow. Plant use part of this water to prepare their food and retain some of it. Their different parts, remaining part of this water is released by the plant into air. As the water through the process of transpirations, right? Here you see the word named transpiration. Do you remember the observing transpiration of water by plants in activity number 4 in this chapter 7? Water vapor enter the air through the process of evaporation, right? And transpiration, is it lost forever? No, we get it back again, as we will see. As you know that the rate of transpiration in desert area, it is high, where water releases from the plants. The process is very fast in desert area because direct sun is there. While in the case of common area, where the sunlight is there but the rate of transpiration is normal. Okay. While in the foreign area, you can see the rate of transpiration is too much slow, right? So we can find different type of plants having the varieties in that leaf. You see that in that desert area, the leaf of the plant structure is different than in common area and then in foreign area. So depends on that transpiration rate. Now the next step of this water cycle, that is how are clouds formed. Now water is released in the environment. Now this water, it mixes with the dust particle and make clouds, right? So third step, how are clouds formed. Activity number 3. Take a half glass filled with water, wipe the glass from the outside with the clean piece of cloth, add some ice into the water, wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Observe the changes that take place in outer surface of the glass. From where do water drops appear on the outer surface of the glass? As you've seen, the water you can find on the outer surface of the glass. From where does it comes? So the cold surface of the glass containing ice water cool the air around it and the water vapor of the air condense. Now the water vapor, it will be condensed, and that water vapor from where it comes? It comes from the evaporation, right? So that water, that air, condenses on the surface of the glass. We notice that this process of condensation in activity number 7 in chapter number 5. So now condensation process comes, right? Evaporation, then transpiration, and then condensation, right? So through this condensation process, you can see clouds are formed. In this diagram, drops of water appears on outer surface of the glass containing water with ice. So the process of condensation plays an important role in bringing water back to the surface of the earth. How does it happen? As we go to the higher from the surface of the earth, it gets cooler. When the air moves up, it gets cooler and cooler. At sufficient height, the air becomes so cool that the water vapor present in it condenses to form tiny drops of water called droplets, and it is these tiny droplets that remain floating in the air and appear to us as a clouds. So it so happens that many droplets of water come together to form larger sized drop of water. Some drop of water become so heavy that they begin to fall, and these falling water drops are what we call rain. In special condition, it may also fall us in the form of hail or snow. So thus, water in the form of vapor goes into air by evaporation and transpiration, forms the cloud, and then come back to the ground as a rain form or hail form or snow form, right? So this last paragraph, you see the water in the form of vapor. First of all, how water gets in the form of vapor, evaporation process. Then this goes into the air by evaporation, and then next process is transpiration, and then forms a cloud, that is condensation, and then come back to the ground as a rain, hail or snow. Now the water comes in the form of rain, which back to the oceans. What happens to the water that rain and snow bring to the different regions of the earth? Almost all land surfaces are above the level of oceans. Most of the water that fall on the land as a rain and snow sooner or later goes back to the oceans. This happens in many ways. Snow in the mountain melt into the water. These water flow in down and the mountain in the form of streams and rivers. Right. So in the form of rivers and streams from mountain you find the water. The water which is come from the mountain, it is in the form of that ice, and it is converted into uh, liquid, that is in the form of streams. Some of the water that falls on the land as a rain also flow in the form of river and stream. Most of the river cover a long distances on the land and ultimately fall into the sea or into the oceans. However, the water of some rivers flow into the lakes. Now you can see here rainwater flows down in the form of streams and river. Now the rainwater also fills up the lakes and ponds. A part of rainwater gets absorbed by the ground and seems to disappear in the soil. Some of this water is brought back into the air by the process of evaporation and transpirations. Again start evaporation. Now the cycle 1 is over and cycle start from the evaporation and transpiration. The rays seep into the ground, and most of these water become available to us as a groundwater. Now open wells are fed by the groundwater. Groundwater is a source for many lakes as well. It also this groundwater which is drawn by hand pump or a tube well. The more hand pumps or tube well that are used in the area, the deeper we need to dig to find the groundwater. The loss in the level of the groundwater due to the overuse or it worrisome, right? Nowadays Now the water table, there is a problem of water table. Water table which is not charged properly nowadays. Why? Due to the imbalanced nature, or due to the that construction of the houses, factories. These are responsible for lack of groundwater. Wherever the soil is there, but instead of that soil, we people, we just place that paver block instead of that soil. So now the process of sipping of water becomes stopped. So the groundwater is not charged properly. Water does not go under the deep layer of the ground due to this paver block. So these are the human activity that we are the barrier of water table, as do not find under the ground in a well conditions. So what is the problem? Scarcity of water is developed. So open well that are fed by the groundwater, and groundwater is the source for many lakes as well. It is also this groundwater which is drawn by the hand pump or tube well. The more hand pumps or tube well that are used in an area, the deeper we need to dig find this groundwater, the loss in the level of ground. So water due to overuse, and it's the worrisome. So Paheli wants to share the concern with you. In those areas where the land has a little or no vegetation, the rainwater flows away quickly. So flowing rainwater is also takes the top layer of the soil away with. These are a few areas where the most of the land is covered with the concrete, and this reduces the seepage of rainwater. Just now I am telling you that due to that paver block, right? So seepage of the rainwater becomes less. So ground, which ultimately affect the availability of groundwater. So we get less amount of water wherever we just digging that soil to construct boring process, right? So many times in that summer seasons we find water is too much scarcity, because the underground of the water becomes less, so it goes into deeper and deeper portions, so we do not get the enough amount of water from the ground. Okay, so the result becomes that scarcity of water that we find. So our government, he just take out the one rule that whenever you construct the house, you must provide the facility. You just one pipe that you have to put under the ground to form water table recharge. So wherever the rainwater is there, it just goes from that pipe and goes into the deeper part of the earth. So by the way, we can recharge our water table. And wherever when we make a boring process, boring of water, so at that time we can get enough amount of water in the remaining seasons. So we know that the water brought back to the surface of the earth by the rain, hail or snow form goes back to the oceans. Thus water from all the oceans and surface of the earth goes into the air. Its vapor returns as a rain, hail or snow, and finally goes back to the oceans. The circulation of water in this manner, it is known as water cycle, and this circulations of water between the oceans and land is a continuous process, and this maintains the supply of water on the land. So our today's topic till here of this water cycle. So have a nice day, students. Goodbye.